If Australia truly cares to lift education standards and results, focus must be given to all students, not just those who are easy to teach. Students with disabilities represent at least 10% of the student population, and yet they are pushed out of schools via suspensions, bullying and exclusion, being sent to behaviour schools. Why don't these students matter? Why are they treated this way, and when will this discrimination stop?
And Louise, can you just share with the panel your experience?
Well, I represent a group of students with ADHD, which is a disability. 7% of the student population have ADHD, and they are experiencing all of these exclusions, suspensions at alarming rates, and not accessing their education at the same rate as their peers, which is discrimination in education.
Adrian Pickley.
Yeah, it's a really tricky question, because I think everybody involved in education, teachers, administration, are really focused on trying to deliver the best education for all students, and particularly students with disabilities. It's not always easy. Some schools do it better than others. Looking at alternative ways to deal with some of the challenges with students with disabilities. I mean, suspension is never really a good solution for any student, because, as somebody said before, I mean, just excluding students from school doesn't actually serve their purpose. It gives the school, for whatever reason the suspension occurred, separation from the student, but it's not in the student's best interest.
You've been looking at models all over the world for solving problems right across education systems. Have you seen anywhere that is doing this, getting this particular component of the education system right?
I think all systems keep working at it, doesn't matter how good they are, because it's the nature of people involved in education. They actually are the most caring group of people in our community. I mean, people don't get into education for the money. They get in it because they love it. They love children.
That's definitely true.
They love children.
When you hear an account like that, I mean, do ideas spring to your mind about how this can be done better?
Before ideas spring up, emotions spring up. I mean, it's heartbreaking to hear, Louise, and I know that's Cherry Technology High School, where I teach. It includes so many students with a wide variety of disabilities, and that's really challenging. As Adrian points out, a lot of the teachers who are trying their best still have a long way to go, but in many ways, you know, we're kind of in the situation of making bricks without straw a little bit. I think it's fantastic. We have so much more access now, even compared to, like, it was, you know, in the grand scheme of things, a very short amount of time ago, 12 years ago when I started teaching. We have so much better access to information and relevant details to individual students' learning, and yet, when we think about the 150 students that a regular high school teacher is going to teach, and many teach actually several more than that, it's an enormous challenge, and very little support is often given. At a school like Cherrybrook, we're really fortunate to have a great learning support team and student learning support officers who often come into our classes and provide us with that very focused, here's what this particular student can really benefit from. But I know that's a benefit that comes largely from scale, and so many schools out there, that particular student learning support officer or learning support teacher, they share with a lot of different schools. That's situation normal across New South Wales. So we have a long way to go in providing that additional support to teachers who want to absolutely do the very best for every student and just need the knowledge and the time to implement what actually helps.
I can tell you it's not happening. It's not happening in the broader school education community. 1 in 4 children with ADHD are suspended from school on average 4 times each. 40% of those are aged 4 to 7 years old. They're tiny children. They're treated like naughty children that no one wants. The teachers are not equipped, they're not trained, they're not provided with training. There is no training for teachers. They're not trained when they're at university. And so these students are starting school, and the message to them is, you're bad, you're naughty, you're out. And they're being suspended multiple times. They're going to these behaviour schools and they're being sent there. And it's not a solution, it's not working. There are countries where inclusive education does work and is happening, Canada, Italy. And those students there with autism, ADHD, these sort of neurological conditions where they have these behaviours, are able to access and inclusive education where they are wanted, adjusted for and allowed to access their education without being shunned and pushed out.
We really appreciate your time tonight, Louise.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.